News 46 is brought to you in part by...
Are you a 3 everyday mom? A significant number of children and adolescents fall short of the calcium they need. Researchers suggest consuming just 3 servings every day of milk, cheese, or yogurt to help reduce body weight and body fat. Milk contributes the most calcium and protein per 100 calories and per penny, making milk a nutrient-rich and cost-effective component for meals. Don't compromise your family's calcium intake, decrease their risk of fracture, and build lifelong healthy habits. Become a 3 everyday mom today. It's easy as 1, 2, 3.
I'm with Don Holbrook and Al Balakoy. We've been having community conversations. Yes. What are these?
Well, community conversations is an opportunity to have the public, the general community, come and ask questions just like you would do around your kitchen table. And giving Don the opportunity, instead of being a more formal setting like a Board of County Commissioners meeting or a town board meeting, where it's more formally and controlled in 3 minutes, where people could actually ask direct questions and they could exchange in a conversation and get their answers, their questions answered.
Do you think that people are a little weary of new businesses coming into town, and maybe when you're in that kind of setting from the town board, you can't really meet the person one-on-one?
I think people don't get the opportunity to talk comfortably. You know, when they get up to that mic, you're in that room, you're in that situation. Some people just are shy, and public speaking is like even worse than death for some people. So they're reluctant to get up there and have a conversation. But when we're sitting around a table and we're just having an exchange of discussion, it helps bring them out. And even then, unless it's properly facilitated, to get those people that don't ask the questions. So that way we could really get into it. You know, the real question is what is the public's perception so far? And it's been very positive. And they're reluctant, like anyone would be reluctant of something they don't know about or they're not familiar with. And Don is new in town, you know, coming in and all that. But now they're getting an opportunity to know Don and to understand what he's saying. And Don's been very forthright and upfront with them. And I think that helps the whole situation to what we're going to do.
And Don, what's the feeling that you're getting from the community?
Well, I think, you know, you have to give the community, it's been very positive. I think that you have to give the town council credit for being willing to be transparent and to have this kind of an open town hall type meeting process where people can come in and get to know me, ask really good questions. There's no such thing as a bad question. I mean, there's been questions all over the board, and I can only be very factual and very honest about how I invest and answer those questions. But I think it's been a very positive process. I think for the most part, people have come away with a good feeling for how we go through this process, how we cause this to happen, what will come out of it because of it. It's going to raise the income for people who work here. It's going to create construction jobs and people back to work in a dignified way in the skilled trades industry. It's going to have a sustainable, ongoing economic opportunity for everybody. I felt very good support here. There's a lot of people with a lot of questions. I think that they need those questions to be answered. We've tried to do that. I always try and be transparent. My grandfather always told me if you don't lie, you don't have to worry about what you said. So all I can do is tell you what I believe to be factually true.
What do you think that the biggest concern is? The $150,000 that we're going to put in this, and they think that they're gambling, or?
They don't understand the public-private partnership understanding is in today, which is different. You know, one of my most respected businessmen in the community said no one ever gave me any money to come to the community, and he's right, and I did it all on my own, and that's honorable, and we respect that, but that's not what's happening today. The economic environment that we're in has changed, and companies come in and are looking for the community, the public sector, to partner together with them, to have a partnership. They could give things, it's an exchange, it's a trade-off. And by doing that, and that's really new to our community, and that's where a lot of the questions have been because they're not familiar with it, which is quite understandable, which is why these conversations we've been having is good, because it's given us the opportunity to explain that and then go forward, and then they say, oh, now I understand. Oh, now we know why it's $150,000. Oh, I could see why that has to be instituted. Oh, I could see this. And now it's an educational process, which is great.
Well, I think too, the other point I want to make is that because of their tourism fund that you have here, which I was unaware of until we came here, I mean, I don't really care how they pay for it. You have to look at it as an investment. We're going to require that the town get paid back for their investment before we step forward into the next phase of this thing with a real developer on this. So they've got these monies they've collected from visitors who've come here. This is for you to grow your visitor market. So I think it's a really appropriate use of these funds to look at ways to increase that economics of this whole situation. So it's not something that you're taking out of your actual local taxpayers' money. This is being paid by visitors to your market today, and it's for you to grow that visitor market. So I think it's a great, appropriate use of your funds. And it is an investment. It's not something you're going to spend and never get back.
So give me the bottom line. We're looking at a theme park. Is it an alien-based theme park? Is that what we're looking at?
Boy,
I've heard that.
A lot, Don.
I'm going to let you go to answer
All right,
that
well,
one.
number one is we don't know what's going to work here yet. We have to figure out what's going to work here. I don't know what theme's going to work here. I don't know what scale or scope it's going to be. That's what this first initial step is what can I do to get people over the mountain from Vegas to spend money here? What would work here? Whether it's aliens, I don't care what it is. It could be anything. What I'm going to tell them is what I think the best thing to do is that's going to get people to come over here and spend their money from the Vegas market, from Southern California, from the visitors that fly into Vegas.
What's this ultimately going to cost in the end? And is it your company that's going to be investing the additional money?
Well, what we do is we bring the investors to the table. We create the business case, and we go out and find the money in the business case for who should do it. We're not equity owners in the project. We actually take the public sector and marry them up to a private sector partner who can spend the money. I don't know the cost because I don't know what the scale is yet. When we get done with phase one, I'll know how big it's going to be, how many people are going to come, how much money it's going to cost to build it, and what the return on investment is going to be.
The jobs that we're going to have. And are we even looking at a positive location right now?
No, there's several locations we're looking at because, again, it depends on what the analysis that Don does. What we're really doing is we're investing in packaging our community. What's the best package that would draw and attract those people from Vegas that comes to Vegas to spend an extra day or two? What is the best theme, whether that be just a destination resort or a theme park, and you brought up the aliens thing, but we have to have that based on factual evidence so that when Don goes to the financial markets and the investment bankers, they have numbers that they recognize and say, yes, this meets the criteria, this is within the parameters, yes, we think this will work, and we're willing to invest and go forward, and then structure it all out. So good questions you're asking me, but it's a little premature, and that's what the study is going to do.
And I have to ask the question that everybody's probably asking: if the study doesn't work and we don't do it, do we lose the $150,000?
Well, that depends on us. I mean, we wouldn't want to do something that wouldn't work, or we wouldn't want to do something that we may not want to do. So that's our choice. We're the ones, the way the whole thing, if you study the proposal and if you read through it, you'll see is that those decisions are left in the town board's court. Is that a fair thing for me to say?
Absolutely. I mean, the study is going to recommend that you do something. And that what the scale and scope is going to depend on what we think the market will substantiate. Now, if people have unrealistic expectations, then I'm not going to recommend you do something that's not going to work.
So you're going to give us kind of a few different ideas of what we should do, and the study money at that point is done. I mean, we've spent it.
Well, what you'll get out of this first phase, I hate calling them studies because I don't like to sell studies. What we're going to figure out in this first phase is what would work here, what we think would be the best case, what's going to create the most economic opportunity, and what we think is going to drag people over the mountain. Now, the town then has to decide, is that what we want to do? And if they say, we don't want to do that, but we'd like to do something along these lines, then we'll look at secondary considerations. So we'll always have first, second, and third recommendations, but each one may have a different economic outcome. So the second one may not have nearly as many jobs, and it may not be nearly as great of an investment from our perspective, but it's going to be the town board's decision on what they think it fits their town the best.
And will we be able to have investors with all those options?
I'm sorry?
With all the different options that you'll be presenting, will we have investors that are interested in each one of those options?
Oh, I believe that in the end you'll have investors interested in any one of them, but it'll depend on what the town feels is the best fit for the town. And the community may feel that they want to do something, for example, that might be unrealistic. And I can say, I can't make that happen because I don't have anything to substantiate that it's real.
Something that everybody wants in life, and it's almost human nature, I want a guarantee. Well, the only guarantee you have is if we do nothing, nothing will happen. If we don't do something, then we're guaranteed that nothing will happen.
So after this is done, and this is the end of our workshops, are we going to have more? I know that we're looking at June 14th to be voted.
June 14th is the next town board meeting where they'll go ahead and vote to either go forward or not. So we're not planning. I mean, Don's been doing a lot of mileage. We were there earlier at lunch at the chamber, and there was over 40 people there. Today, so far, we've held 2 sessions, and I've said we've averaged about 20 people each session, and we're getting ready to go ahead and do another one. I mean, I can't ever recall being in this community as you are that we've ever had so much public input and support. Yes, and that's what's important. And and I'm so grateful for your station coming to talk with us and let them know that. And they could continue to email, and if they have questions, I'll be glad to answer them.
And give that information.
Well, my email is my name. It's then Balaqui at pahrump.nv.org, or the town office and direct it. And what I can't answer, I'm sure Don can.